is traveling, as Desmond was talking about. They are going, kind of in circles and driving around the same area right now, which gives us an indication that maybe that's why they're going to go for this. But again, you see those ground units back on this chase once again. They got to deploy those spike strips, far ahead enough to get a spike strip out and in an area where the suspect can't veer around it. So many different factors. Looks like we're back on the 101 freeway now, Desmond.
Yep, going right underneath us here. So he got on the freeway at Lancashire. It looks like we're going northbound, and as we spin the camera around here, we're going to see if they're going to go for the 101. Actually, looks like he's getting off the freeway at Vineland, I think. And so, yeah, so now we're kind of circling around Studio City, see if the suspect goes south back towards Studio City or goes north towards North Hollywood, really wanting to get around this traffic up on the curb to get around and get through another red and with no lights on. They're endangering themselves just as much as anyone else. It's just crazy.
Well, there are units right behind him again, and again, we can't stress enough how dark this area really is when you're in this area. Even though it looks somewhat well lit, it's hard to drive here even under normal conditions. Now he's in the wrong lane here. As you see the pursuit behind him.
Oh, this is so, oh my goodness, this is so dangerous. And it makes you just so nervous.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Susie, this is what I figured. I mean, look at this. Can you imagine going northbound on Vineland and you just see this black outline coming towards you with no headlights?
Sure.
And we just heard that LAPD is terminating this pursuit. It has gotten too dangerous now, especially when we saw that wrong way driving. That was the worst thing we've seen so far. But they are saying that the airship is allowed to stay and monitor. So, and we'll see how long that continues to be the case. They may end up calling the airship off completely. Too keeps driving right underneath us here. It's really difficult to keep tabs on this vehicle. Even though they've canceled the pursuit, we certainly want to keep tabs on this vehicle for at least a little while. See if they get out of the vehicle or where they might end up, and perhaps there will be an opportunity later on for LAPD. They still have the helicopter overhead for now. That is subject to change, but now not an active pursuit here through Studio City.
Yes. And Desmond, you have to wonder, as we see the chopper fly underneath you there, is it really maybe a hindrance not to have the spotlight on this car, because they don't have their headlights on. At least when the chopper spotlight is on the car, other people on the road they have a chance of seeing this guy as he keeps cutting in front of people. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, everything is kind of a give and take. There is definitely an argument to be made for that, so that at least people see, a spotlight from a helicopter and would hopefully illuminate this vehicle. But then LAPD is weighing that against is that going to make this suspect drive even more desperately? It's just it's always a judgment call like that. And I believe that the protocol for LAPD is that once they terminate, if they're in tracking mode, and especially if they terminate a pursuit, that they do not use their spotlight. It's different for other agencies. Sheriff's deputies and CHP follow a different protocol. They may continue to use a spotlight even if they're in tracking mode. But we see the headlights have been off the entire time. And some of these streets are really dark, even though they're major. But now we're coming up to one of the most complicated intersections in Los Angeles, at Vineland, Lancashire, and Camarillo, and I'm going to have to see what the suspect's going to do here.
I have to agree with you on that one. Every time I'm at the intersection, I have no idea what is going on. It looks like they're making...
Yeah, it's like a 7-way intersection, and there you go. Fortunately, those pedestrians, maybe they saw that person going, or it wasn't their turn to go. But now we're eastbound on Camarillo, headed towards Toluca Lake, Toluca Woods, behind some buildings here. As we head eastbound, we'll try to keep eyes on this. We have to give a little bit of space to LAPD's helicopter right now.
And if you're just
I still see him coming. Let's head more east here.
We're coming up on 9:30, so we just want to rejoin and let everyone know you're watching KCAL 9 News now at 9:30, and you're watching Pursuit in progress that began in Van Nuys. This appears to be a black Lexus. We believe it's stolen. We believe there are 2 people inside. It has been driving around and is now in Toluca Lake. for about 15 minutes so far with those headlights out, veering around erratically,
Yes.
driving at speeds at some points topping 65, 70 miles an hour. And you can see how dangerous this situation is here on a Friday night on these local streets, it being this dark. And look at this, this driver and passenger go with what appears to be no concern for anyone else on the road.
And so many close calls that we have watched here, and makes us so nervous whenever they're driving on the wrong side of the road with their headlights off. It looks like they're using their turn signal there, going around a car to make that left turn. So dangerous while oncoming cars were coming, and then a sharp right turn into a neighborhood. Desmond says maybe this might be a dead end. We'll see. But as we mentioned, the LAPD is now in tracking mode, which means that they've got their airship overhead, and they're going to take over the broadcast of where this car is. The black and whites on the ground, shutting off their emergency equipment so that there's no more presence or pressure, if you will, on this car. And it looks like he was in the cul-de-sac and just driving out of there now, Desmond.
Yeah, I saw the dead end sign, and I know this area. A lot of those go towards the Chandler Bikeway, and look at how fast through the gas station parking lot. It looks like there's just one person in this vehicle right now, and so now continuing back northbound on Cahuenga, and you know, you really learn when you see a vehicle, a black vehicle with no lights on driving around. You see just how dark so many streets are in Los Angeles. We feel like there's street lights everywhere, but even, you know, on fairly major streets, that section of Vineland, the section of Cahuenga, it gets super dark, and that's where it's just so dangerous for anyone else who is just not paying very close attention.
Yeah, and we just have a combination of factors making this more dangerous. Someone in the parking lot right there as this guy speeds through. The weather's beautiful out. It's temperate. It's Friday night. People are walking around this area of North Hollywood. There's traffic everywhere, and this car is just going wild.
Yeah, we were talking about.
You can see someone in that parking lot back there where he just sped through. You can see the head.
We were talking about.
Well, the headlights are suddenly on.
Yeah, they are back on.
We're in an alleyway.
Going so
right
fast
now.
those alleyways too. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they're looking for a place to ditch the vehicle, or if this is where they live, or what. Again, this started in Van Nuys, not too far off of, I think it was off of Riverside and Van Nuys Boulevards, just a couple of miles, maybe 3 or 4 miles from here. But romping around now. I mean, at least the headlights are on, but still, look at 40 miles an hour. These streets, these are little streets with parking on both sides. And again, one of these residential streets where there are no street lights. Just really hate to see this if anyone is out walking their dog, and now the headlights off again. What is going on with this suspect? It looks like they have their interior dome light on, and we can see that looks like there's just one person in the vehicle here. But and again, there's no law enforcement anywhere. So what are they doing?
Yeah, it just makes you wonder. So the chopper is not overhead either now, Desmond?
I'll ask my pilot, Dylan. Is LAPD's helicopter still overhead? Yeah,
okay.
They are still here, but they are just monitoring.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think this vehicle has a sunroof. It might have the sunroof open, and they'll be able to hear the blades of the helicopter if that's the case. It does look like, yeah, the sunroof is open. So, it might just be they're hearing the helicopter blades of LAPD that are down really low. And, that maybe that's what's agitating the suspect. I mean, I hate to say that, but you hate to see LAPD back off it completely. But at the rate this is going, it's a really tough call for LAPD, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we already know that this SUV clipped another vehicle and coming off the 101, I believe, at Vineland. And we can see how dangerous this has become. Just moments ago, this SUV speeding through a 7-Eleven parking lot where someone was walking right near it, then speeding through an alleyway where we saw someone again walking through, going at speeds, topping 35 miles an hour in that alleyway.
In that alleyway, boy.
Yeah, that's fast. You could actually see it bobbing up and down when it was hitting those curbs. And now here we are in North Hollywood on Vineland, going 50 miles an hour.
Running red lights still?
It looks like those headlights may, Desmond, have gone out. Oh, no, yeah, they were. They're back on now. On
again, off again. Yeah, it's very strange. We thought we might have seen a unit. Oh, are they stopping?
Yeah.
Well, no, stopping for a second.
They thought about
it. There was
it.
another vehicle parked there, kind of strange. Not sure if that was someone they knew or what, but you know, you're seeing this person just not even slow down through red lights, especially after what we saw yesterday. You know, in the Ladera Heights area, that horrible crash. You know, it's the first thing I think of when you see a suspect going 40 or 50 miles an hour without even slowing down, going through these intersections.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, and especially this situation with no headlights, a black SUV, and, you know, blowing by these cars and pedestrians and so close.
And going the wrong way. I mean, that was so insane when we were watching that happen when he was driving, I believe it was up Vineland, and he was just going on the other side of the road and cars coming head on. I mean, you know, as Desmond was talking about, can you imagine that? You know, driving on a surface street and all of a sudden you see a car coming at you, no headlights on, so you didn't see it before.
Doing it again.
Making
Wrong way
crazy driving
again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Desmond, from your vantage point, how close is the chopper underneath you? Are they still pretty close? You believe that the SUV can probably still hear the blades above them?
Well, actually, you know, Ross, you say that, and my pilot Dylan just informed me that LAPD has climbed way up. They may even be higher than we are right now, and that may be the reason why. They still want to keep eyes on the suspect, but maybe it was those chopper blades down at, you know, like 700 feet that it could have been causing the suspect to drive like this. So they've climbed up in the air, and hopefully this will get the suspect to think, you know, there's no law enforcement, you know, imminently pursuing me. I don't need to drive like this. I don't need to gamble with my life and everyone else's life out here. So we'll see if that tactic pays off. But yeah, LAPD is still watching, but they're watching from a much higher altitude now at this point. But still, look at back on the wrong side of the street again.
Cutting around cars and just driving fast down. This is Cohasset. I'm sorry, in Vineland Avenue now in Sun Valley, and still veering around this traffic, making a quick right turn, and you just don't know where this person is going next. Again, if you're just joining us here on KCAL 9 News at 9, this is breaking news, a pursuit of a stolen vehicle by the LAPD. The LAPD has only their airship in the air right now, but oftentimes what happens is they will go into this tracking mode with their airship, and they can direct everyone in, and that will actually minimize the risk to both the community and the driver, because as Desmond was talking about, he was thinking maybe that LAPD helicopter, the blades from that helicopter, the noise might have been perhaps agitating the driver. We want to take you to some video to show how crazy this pursuit has been. We've been talking about how erratic this driver has been driving, and on the right side of your screen, what you're looking at is them driving on the wrong side of the road earlier. As you can see, cars trying to go around them. I'm sure a lot of people confused as to what is happening and what is coming at them, especially when they're driving on the wrong side of the road and a car is coming head on at them.
Yeah, what we believe at this point is that there is one person inside this black Lexus SUV. This pursuit starting, I would say, about 20 minutes ago in Van Nuys. At one point, I believe perhaps CHP was involved, but now it's LAPD's pursuit. And as Desmond has been telling us, they've taken a step back. Their chopper is high above, perhaps so this car with an open moonroof can't hear the chopper. The spotlight is no longer on the SUV. But the actions of this driver really haven't changed too much. Still driving erratically, still at times going on the wrong side of the road.
Did they stop here?
I didn't see them come out the other end yet. Looks
dang
like,
it. I didn't see that vehicle. Oh, no, there they are. Geez, it must have been going really fast. Came back from behind that building there really quickly. So. Sorry about that. We've got eyes on it. We're right next to Van Nuys Burbank Airport right now, Bob Hope Airport, which can also be a very busy area. So, some clarification here. It sounds like what may actually be going on is we may have CHP's fixed wing that's up high, and LAPD is still down low. They may not be as low as they were earlier, but it sounds like we may actually have two aircraft on this. And It's kind of this peculiar situation. We had it with a pursuit last night that ended up getting away as well, where CHP brings in their fixed wing. It's called a stationaire, and they don't have a spotlight, but they have, but they have what's called FLIR. They have infrared on board that plane. But planes have to stay much higher than helicopters do, and apparently now it sounds like LAPD is actually up at about 1,400, which is about twice as high as they might normally fly. So it's not 4,000. It's the CHP that's up above 4,000, and CHP is low, but not as low as they usually are.
Most of the time with the LAPD, with the tracking mode, they will have ground units that are always nearby, even if the tracking mode is just with the chopper. So as soon as this ends, they maybe stop and they. Chopper radios that in. Looks like they're getting out of the car.
Stopped out.
All right. Now maybe get in another car.
What is he doing? He left the
car
and drive.
Someone else trying to open the door there.
Getting back
I think
in
you
now.
were.
Huh.
Oh boy. Well, this changes everything. I mean, that was attempted carjacking. It looked like left the car and drive, and then it bumped into that person's vehicle, and saw him, try to get in, and I mean, it was just a parked vehicle. So if they were just trying to, I don't know, go in and hotwire the vehicle or what, I don't know, if they thought someone was in there and they could carjack him. But another really desperate maneuver there by this suspect. That's the first time we've seen them stop, and it was an attempt to get out of this vehicle and steal another one. So really curious how law enforcement feels about all that.
You have to say, Desmond, it's just it's a small point but a big point. Thank God that person had their door locked, because he was not able to get in. We couldn't see any visible weapon. It could be an entirely different situation right now had that door not been locked, and those people you saw on the sidewalk running.
Okay. Now look at this.
Now there's a ground unit.
This crazy person just cut off that Burbank unit, and now Burbank says, "Oh no, you didn't," and now they are actively getting in pursuit of this vehicle. I don't even know if they're aware of what's going on with this car. That there's been an on again, off again pursuit with this vehicle, but this driver was just asking for it. You could clearly see there was a police officer in front of them. Didn't care, cut the cop off with the lights off, and now we're southbound on the 5, and now it's like we're in a completely new pursuit.
Is it Burbank Police or Airport Police? How close are we to the Bob Hope there?
I think it's Burbank Police, but
Looks like
now,
Burbank.
well, now the lights are, let's see what they're going to do. Now the lights are off. Maybe there might have been some communication there between LAPD's helicopter. Yeah, it is Burbank Police, my assignment desk confirming that for me, but they turned the lights off really quickly. Now they're kind of getting into tracking mode. Maybe LAPD radioed down and said, no, don't, this person's crazy. But,
if you have a moment here, you can look on the right side of the screen. We're going to show this carjacking attempt again. You see the driver get out of his car, run up to the car in front that it looks like he hit briefly. He can't open the door, and he gets back in his car that was never even in park. He gets back on the road, and that changes everything entirely.
Yeah. He definitely wanted to ditch this car. He knows it's stolen, obviously. This is a stolen car pursuit, and God knows what could have happened, as you were talking about, Ross. If this person, if their door was unlocked and they possibly got inside, and if there was someone else inside. It's unclear what they were trying to do, but it looked like they were trying to carjack or steal another car, and another unit looks like from Burbank in chase again.
Ooh. Yeah, they were right there waiting for him. So now, all of Burbank, all of their ground units are aware of what's going on. This is just a pretty confusing one, because we saw them. They maybe Burbank has a protocol where they just don't chase on the freeway, because we saw them turn the lights off the second we got on the freeway. But then right when we get back off, the lights are back on, and we have a couple of units wrong way driving again, and we're getting over near downtown Burbank right now. There's the spotlight.
That's about the area where he cut off the officer to begin with. I think we're back. Is that LAPD's spotlight back on the vehicle?
Yeah, LAPD's or possibly even Burbank PD's. Well, I'll try to clarify that for you in a moment. I think it was over by Hollywood Way and the 5 freeway where that happened. We're just a couple of miles south of that. But a spotlight back on, indicates an active pursuit is going again. So we've seen LAPD, we've seen CHP, then back to LAPD, and then Burbank PD, and a bevy of airships overhead as well. There was another Burbank unit, so they're all talking about this, and now they're trying to figure out how to handle it.
Yeah, so many different jurisdictions getting involved now as this pursuit has been in so many different areas.
Thanks.
But the LAPD actually starting this, and then it turned into the CHP when it was on the freeways, and then back to the LAPD. The airship has been overhead, but the CHP also has a fixed-wing aircraft overhead, which is pretty unusual. It's pretty unusual to see two different agencies like the CHP and the LAPD have different kinds of aircraft up in the air. As you can see that, wow, really threading the needle there.
Well, look, it looks like that attempted carjacking changed the entire calculation here. It looks like this active pursuit is back on, and they know now exactly how dangerous the situation is. It doesn't appear that they're going to let this SUV go.
No, and the lights are off once again.
Look how dangerous that is.
On the freeway.
We've been on these roads. It is very difficult to see, even with headlights on.
Absolutely, and a car coming at you like that, you have no idea what's happening, and it's such a dangerous thing for drivers just because they can't see what's coming.
Yeah, very difficult. We just saw, merging traffic right there, and this person just zigging and zagging all.
Let's look on the right side of the screen here. I think we lost Desmond temporarily here. This is the suspect getting out of the car, trying to open the door of the car in front of him. He can't. It's locked. He gets back in. And we believe that this is the reason that the spotlight is back on this active pursuit, because we see just how dangerous now the situation is.
Yeah, there were two cars ahead of that person when they parked right behind that car that they were trying to possibly carjack. There was one up ahead. They sort of took off, and it looked like they were just taking off right after they saw that person trying to open the door to that car. This is a stolen car pursuit, and so this person is already wanted for stealing this car. I'm sure they wanted to get away from that and rid themselves of that car, because that is what police and the CHP have been chasing, to maybe hide their identity, if you will, a little bit, and get away in a different car and make it look different. But it looks like, there were ground units all over that place in Burbank, Ross, after that suspect actually cut one of them off. And that's when, as Desmond was saying, they're saying, nuh-uh, not in our city. This is not happening.
Look, I think it's Burbank police back right behind this guy again. And look, this is a complicated area. We don't know whether this driver knows exactly where he's going. It looks pretty aimless. Burbank PD looks like they're moving in about as close as we've seen at any one time.
Yeah, these are pictures from earlier that we're showing you right now, I believe. Are these live pictures or from earlier? These are pictures from earlier in Burbank when the suspect was driving, actually in the Studio City area, really close to our studios here. And they were driving like a maniac, driving down Ventura Boulevard. And our live picture is back there on the left. Desmond, where are you right now? And are there any ground units behind this person yet?
Susie and Ross, no ground units at this point that we've seen. We are northbound on the 5, though. Now we're headed up towards Sun Valley. And what's interesting is there's now 3 law enforcement helicopters trying to track this crazy driver. There's LAPD, they were the original helicopter. Then we have CHP's fixed wing that's way up high. And now Burbank PD has their helicopter as well. They may have already been cruising out in the area and then heard what happened and came rushing overhead to this. So there's actually 3 aircraft over this for the time being. And, it's been on the freeway, off the freeway, bouncing between different agencies. And so now LAPD is asking CHP to get back involved because we're on the freeway.
Along the I-5 going north here, just passing Sheldon, and look, the only positive development is at least there's a little less traffic. We're on the highway, so no pedestrians in sight, but still driving erratically, going 80 miles an hour, which is, almost the speed of traffic, unfortunately, on the I-5 north on a Friday night. Dangerous situation. At least the headlights are back on. But after that attempted carjacking, Des, I think you called it, I think they know exactly how dangerous this is, and they most likely are going to follow this to the end. Looks like the spotlight is
most
off
likely,
right now.
Yeah, the spotlight's been on and off, and it's been mostly off at this point, so we might be back in tracking mode. I mean, you've got 3 different agencies that are going back and forth with this, and I can just tell you, CHP really does not like picking up pursuits from other agencies if they don't have to, but now they're back on the freeway. They may be kind of obligated to, but the fact they've already been involved in this and then it got so dangerous, they may have reason to just say, no, we need to just let this one go. But you see we're coming over the big connector here between the 5 and the 170 as we make our way into Pacoima. And whereas we had no lights on before, now we've got the headlights and the turn signal stuck on.
All right, Desmond, can you see from your vantage point, I've lost track of, we still have three aircraft in the air. We still have LAPD, Burbank PD's choppers, and then CHP's fixed wing above that?
That way, at last check, yes, that is what we had overhead. We're going to be headed up towards, well, there's Burbank right there. I believe that's Burbank PD. Still in tracking mode. They don't have their lights on, but they are coming up to them. Actually getting pretty close to them right now. And maybe if they're trying to, I don't know, do some reconnaissance or something, see if they can maybe at least see how many people are in the car if LAPD had not informed them of that. You know, I'm hoping that the suspect attempted to take that other car because they're almost out of gas and not because they were just, you know, trying to get in another vehicle. I'm just hoping that the gas tank is really low, and that's why they tried to do that, and hopefully they'll run out of gas shortly. But it may just be wishful thinking. But, I mean, look at Burbank PD getting right up next to them. Pretty unusual. Looks like they put their little spotlight from the car on them as well to let them know that they're there.
You know, it's an unusual situation, Desmond, as you point out. I mean, we have 2 Burbank PD units following behind without their flashing lights on, but with the spotlight on. I'm not sure what the thinking there is, because clearly the driver of the stolen Lexus SUV knows they're behind him. It looks like at this point they're letting the distance increase just a little bit as the suspect continues to, oh, there they come back up again, continuing to race along I-5 northbound near Paxton Street through Pacoima. It looks like he might be heading towards an exit here. Yeah.
We're just got on the eastbound 118. Sorry, I was having to communicate with my pilot here, and we're trying to figure out how many law enforcement units are in the air. We had 3. We might be down to 2 now, but there's one right there. I can't tell if that's LAPD's helicopter or if that was Burbank's. It looked like it had kind of a different paint job right there. But we are eastbound on the 118. We've covered quite a bit of ground. We've been in the valley the entire time. Van Nuys to Encino, back down the 101, Universal City, Studio City, and then back east towards North Hollywood, Burbank, Sun Valley, Pacoima, and now we're making our way towards Sylmar. The eastbound 118 is going to end to the 210, and we'll see if the suspect is going to go east or west on the 210. They will have to stick with the freeway if they continue at this pace.
Yeah, if you're just joining us right now, this is a pursuit of a stolen Lexus SUV. It's all beginning at around, I would say, about 9:17 tonight. This driver, originally driving with no headlights on, going through Van Nuys, up through Studio City, through North Hollywood, Burbank, around the airport, then getting on the 5, and now on the 118 in Pacoima. Driving erratically at times, going the wrong way down the street, driving very close through parking lots and alleyways that we saw pedestrians in. A lot of dangerous, erratic maneuvers happening. At one point, LAPD backing off and not pursuing the suspect. And then, if we have the video and we can show this, there was an attempted carjacking where this driver stopped his stolen SUV, bumped into a parked car on the street, went up to the side of the car, tried to open the door. Fortunately, it was locked, could not get in, then got right back into his car and continued driving. Now, I believe he's on Paxton Street, right?
I hear you.
Back on Paxton Street here?
Yeah, Ross. Yeah,
Oh,
he's getting onto the eastbound
210.
210 here. It looks like. Or wait a minute. Actually, I think we're going westbound 210. Yeah, so that's that fork there where the 118 ends to either head towards Pasadena or towards Silmar and the Newhall Pass. The suspect chose westbound 210, so we'll be going up through Silmar. You saw going through that construction zone right there. Fortunately, we just saw cones. We didn't see any workers out there, but the suspect was right up against the line of those cones. And here we are getting off the freeway.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, wait a minute.
Huh.
That's, guys, I'm sorry. I looked away just for a second wow, we're off-roading now.
Yeah,
this is ridiculous.
I was wondering if it was an exit. It just looked like it was paralleling the freeway.
No, oh, wow. What has the suspect gotten themselves into? So this looks like a construction area where they might be widening the freeway and just drove through a break in the K-rail. And now we're really getting crazy here as we are off-road. And this might be the end. Oh, what? No, I couldn't quite tell in the dark if that was a little hill or... Oh, now they're really stopped. They are trapped. Well, no. Oh, I thought there was nothing around that vehicle. Amazingly, still some space to get around, but where is this going to lead the suspect?
Wow, so just driving on this unpaved road, we possibly think it's merging back with the freeway, right? Wow.
I can't believe how lucky this suspect is. But now look at this, illegally getting back on the freeway with no on-ramp. This is just absurd. I mean, can't imagine what is going through this person's head right now. I wish there would have been some K-rail there to stop that vehicle and trap them in, but it was a construction zone. There's no way the suspect could have known that they could have gotten in and out of that. Such a bizarre situation, but now exiting the freeway on an actual freeway ramp, it looks like here at McClay Street.
Desmond, have you ever seen 3 different agencies in the air like this? Burbank, CHP, LAPD all at once? I mean, for a stolen car, too?
It's
I'm
trying to rack my
know?
head and very unusual. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, it's not uncommon to see 2, but to see 3 is okay. So actually now we are down to 2. It sounds like LAPD is pulling off. Maybe they're low on fuel. Okay, so this is a weird situation. Maybe you've seen this before, where Caltrans does this thing where they split off lanes.
All right, I think we just lost.
So you have.
We lost you there for just a second, Desmond. If you wouldn't mind just explaining one more time what you were talking about when the Caltrans splits the lanes.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like we're having some difficulty with our shot, though. We're going to keep tracking this pursuit here on KCAL 9. If you're just joining us, this is KCAL 9 News at 10, and we continue to follow our breaking news. A wild pursuit in Pacoima. Desmond Shaw has been live overhead, keeping track for the past hour or so, but this has been an incredible pursuit, so unusual in so many ways, in the fact that just earlier we were talking about 3 different agencies, the CHP, the LAPD, and the Burbank Police Department with their airships overhead trying to track this guy.
Yeah, I believe we have some video of
try to get into another car. It appeared to be a carjacking type of situation, but he was unable to get in that car and got back in this Lexus and continued the pursuit. So this has been a lengthy pursuit. We're talking about almost an hour at this point. Really traversed all over the San Fernando Valley. Maybe exiting here. So here he is exiting at Roxford rather. Yep, he's exiting up just to he's just on the off-ramp. He's just exiting now. He hasn't turned yet. He's at the end of the off-ramp, and he's going to go towards us under the freeway. So he's coming under the freeway, right out your side. And he may be getting back on the freeway. So going eastbound now on the 210. Okay, so you guys just saw it there a moment ago. He got off the freeway at Roxford, off of the westbound side of the 210, and is going to go back eastbound now. So we're just going to hang a U-turn and go eastbound as well. 210 freeway here, headed east. Still on the freeway going east. He's like way ahead of us. For those of you following along on your scanner, CHP just switched over to the brown, the Altadena frequency, so you can listen to it there. All right, here's the spike. No, he's still on the freeway. Coming up to the interchange with the 210 and the 118 freeway. Just a moment ago, the CHP tried to deploy a set of spikes, but he clearly saw it, so he was able to avoid it, no problem. It's really slowing down here, though, compared to what we've seen. Continuing on the eastbound side of the 210, coming up to the 118 in that middle lane. Still eastbound, yeah. Eastbound 210 from the 118. And the pursuit continues here on the Foothill Freeway on the eastbound side of the 210. You'll remember he was on the westbound side and then he ended up in a construction zone. But continuing now eastbound and really slowed down compared to what we saw earlier. And all of a sudden he discovered that he has a blinker and is just randomly using it without changing lanes. Coming up to Wheatland. Maybe exiting at Wheatland here. Yep, exiting at Wheatland. So Harry, he is exiting. This is a dark area, so why don't I throw on the infrared, make it a little bit easier for us to see. He got off the freeway, but maybe getting right back on. So maybe getting back on eastbound, and now he's blacked out, but he does have lights when he... Oh, there you go, coming up behind that CHP cruiser. He just passed that CHP car. We have a little more light, so I'll get out of the infrared. Sunland is the next exit coming up. What you saw there just a moment ago was him exiting at Wheatland, and then he got right back on the same side of the freeway that he was on, which was the eastbound side. But when he did that, there was actually a CHP patrol unit, that SUV, that was at the end of the off-ramp. So the vehicle passed right by him. So now you have that CHP unit in pursuit. Again, this started as an LAPD Van Nuys pursuit of a possible stolen car, moved to the California Highway Patrol when it got on the freeway, moved to Burbank PD. Now it looks like it's back on with the California Highway Patrol in pursuit here, eastbound on the 210 freeway at Sunland Boulevard. .210 East coming up to La Tuna. There's the CHP unit behind it. Okay, they're switching the scanner to the brown, the Altadena frequency, because I'm hearing that some of those units may be getting in the chase. He's just on the other side of that big rig. Middle lanes there. And now I'm going to quickly say a few words for our sister station, Telemundo. I know viewer Rob Embry, I know you appreciate a little bit of Spanish here and there. So we're just going to say a few words here in Spanish, and we'll resume our coverage in English as soon as I'm done. Buenas noches desde el helicóptero. Yo soy Eliana Moreno reportando sobre una persecución policíaca que ahora está en la autopista 210 en dirección este, cerca de la salida de la Boulevard Sunland en el área de Tahunga. Esta es una persecución que empezó ya aproximadamente hace una hora en el área de Van Nuys. La policía de la ciudad de Los Ángeles empezó a seguir este vehículo Lexus negro en color porque creen que el vehículo es robado. La persecución continuó en las calles de Van Nuys antes de subirse a la autopista 101, también la autopista 405, seguido por la autopista 5, la 118 y la 210, donde nos encontramos ahora. Por un tiempo el conductor estuvo manejando en un área de construcción justo al lado de la autopista 210 en dirección oeste, pero se pudo salir y ahora se encuentra en los carriles correctos de la autopista, pero en dirección este, continuando hacia la Tuna Canyon. Al momento se desconoce cuántas personas están adentro del vehículo, pero el conductor es un hombre. Y ahora la patrulla de caminos de California está detrás del vehículo después de que la ciudad de Burbank lo estuviera siguiendo por un tiempo en la autopista 5. Y como pueden ver, ahora el conductor se está saliendo de la autopista en la calle La Tuna Canyon Road. Reportando desde el helicóptero desde Tahunga, yo soy Eliana Moreno, Telemundo 52. Alrighty, Harry, he just exited at La Tuna. Perfect. He may get right back on, though. Yeah, he's going to get right back on. Back on eastbound. Okay. So back with you guys here in English. While I was reporting in Spanish, he got off the freeway at La Tuna Canyon, got right back on. So similar pattern. There's a CHP unit. Let's see if that guy gets behind him. There's another unit. There's the spikes. So there we go. That's what they were waiting to do. They finally caught up to his pattern. He does this. He gets off the freeway. He gets right back on. And so they figured he might try it again. So why don't we set up some spikes on the next off ramp? And that's exactly what they did. And he ran right over that set of spike strips. So the way spike strips work, they don't immediately deflate the tires. They don't cause the tires to burst. But of course, it does make holes in those tires. And so you will slowly start to see those tires deflate until eventually you'll lose the tire. You'll go down to the rim. And a lot of the time, these drivers, as soon as they run over that spike strip, they figure their time is pretty much done, and they'll just come to a stop. So we'll see what happens here. Continuing, though, eastbound on the 210 freeway, coming up to Lowell. And more units of the California Highway Patrol getting behind the vehicle now. So he is slowing down a little bit. That's exactly what the CHP wanted to see. And he may be coming to a stop. Here we go, driver door opening. And he's gonna try to run for it. But he realizes he's not gonna get very far. So there you go. Hands are up. CHP officers drawing their guns. And he's down on the ground. Not exactly the way they want him to. Ideally, they want him on his stomach, not on his back like this. So Harry's bringing the helicopter around so we can get a better shot. You want to go around? Okay, go for it. So we're just off of the 210 freeway at Lowell. Officers with their guns drawn, felony stop in progress. He's just on the other side of the tree. We're bringing News Chopper 4 around so that we can take a look as they take him into custody. Now he's back with his hands behind his back, exactly what they wanted to see. Pardon the shake there in the camera for a moment. Yep, so, okay, go for it. Yeah, trying to recover the camera. Okay, code 4 is what we're hearing. And my camera's got a little bit of the shakes there, so I'm gonna just reset it real quick. I'll just tell you what's going on. The vehicle has come to a stop at the 210 at Lowell, eastbound lanes. The driver just pulled off after he ran over a set of spike strips, and they are now taking him into custody. Pardon me, because I have to fix something with the camera here real quick. So I'm gonna have to reset it the long way, pardon me, but you guys can still hear me. So essentially the vehicle has come to a stop on the eastbound side of the 210 freeway at Lowell. Officers are handcuffing the man right now. They are calling a code 4, which means that the driver is in custody. They've cleared the vehicle, nobody else is inside. In terms of what this is doing to the freeway, really nothing. You're still flowing quite well here on the eastbound side of the 210 freeway. The off-ramp, of course, though, at Lowell will be shut down. And my camera is coming back to life right now, so I'll be able to show you here in just a moment. Okay, there we go. Back with you guys here. You should see it now. There you go. There's the vehicle there at the end of the Lowell off-ramp. Go ahead, Mark. Hey, Jack, yes, it's the Lowell exit for the eastbound side of the 210 freeway, so Lowell Avenue. And back with you guys here online. Pardon the interruption there, but we are Lowell Avenue, eastbound 210 freeway. There's the driver there. This actually isn't the first time we've seen him. We saw him before when he got out in Burbank and tried to carjack another vehicle. And at the termination here, he got out of the car. He tried to run, but I think he just realized that there was really nowhere for him to go. He was literally in an area where there's not much else. There's really not too much here in the way of businesses or even homes. So I think he quickly realized he wasn't going to be able to get very far and decided to surrender to authorities. Harry, if you want to fly away a little bit, just because it's a little too steep. Okay, copy that, Jack. Will do. And thank you for everyone. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Jack. I'm just going to sign off real quick. Thank you to everyone who watched us here on NBCLA.com, Roku TV, Fire TV, and Apple TV. We, of course, have the NBC4 News coming up here in the next 45 minutes or so. We hope you can tune in for that. But for now, from News Chopper 4, I'm Eliana Moreno alongside my pilot, Harry. Thank you very much for watching, and we're going to see you at 11 o'clock.